Well, good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to the Ronan Event Center and tonight's boys championship ball game featuring the number one seed out of 6B, the Loyola Rams, on the season. Their record moving to 12-8, 6-2 overall. Taking on the number one seed and the number one ranked team in Class B. They move to 20-0, unbeaten in conference. And the number one seed out of District 7B for your championship game tonight. Well, if you can hear me out there, 406-270-7384. You can hear the Bigfork High School pet band playing in the background. Well, how did these teams get here? You asked, to the championship game. We'll look at Loyola out of 6B. In the first game on Thursday, it was the Loyola Rams 67-19 over the Troy Trojans. And in the semifinal game last night at 5:40, it was Loyola 53 and Florence 45. So let's put the Rams in the championship game against Bigfork tonight. And the Vikings, how'd they get here? Well, in the first round, the first game of the tournament at 8 a.m. on Thursday, it was Bigfork 44-27 over Deer Lodge in a defensive struggle. And probably the game of the tournament, and definitely probably the championship, even worthy of a state championship ball game yesterday at 4 o'clock in the semifinal in double overtime. It was the Vikings 58 and Anaconda 57 to get the Vikings into the championship game. Well, they'll take on the Loyola Rams. Yesterday, if you didn't catch that game, you missed one for the ages. As I'm quoting David Creamer, who put that out on Facebook and Twitter. Bo Santa Stephen in the first game led Bigfork over Deer Lodge with 14. Logan Gilliard with 12. 9 by Epperly. Yesterday, Logan Gilliard in the first and the third put up some gaudy numbers and it scored 21 to lead the team. 14 by Colton Reichenbach, 12 by Bo Santa Stephen, and 8 by Anders Epperly. Anders Epperly made 2 unbelievable layups in overtime and then double overtime as the Vikings went out early to a 14-8 lead over Anaconda in the first quarter, but the Anaconda came right back. Anaconda led 26-18 after the second quarter at halftime. So the Vikings trailed for the very first time all season at halftime by 8, 26-18. But a monster third quarter by the Vikings, who put up 23 and held Anaconda to 15. And we were tied after 3 at 41. Each team put up 9 points in the fourth quarter. So we headed to overtime tied at 50 in the first overtime. 4 minutes played and 6 points apiece. Epperly with that layup up and under of Micheladas, and Bo Santa Stephen picked up 4 points in that first overtime. In the second overtime, it was Epperly putting the Vikings in the lead with that layup and made it 58-56. Went back and forth, came down to it, and Braxton Hill drives to the hole. Santa Stephen goes up to block it, gets called for the foul below. That sent Braxton Hill to the line for 2 free throws. And I have to tell you, folks, I thought we were headed for a third overtime, as Braxton Hill usually makes his free throws. But if you remember back in the first overtime, he was 1 for 2 on his free throws, made the first, miss the second. And in the second overtime, Hill had some issues with blood on his elbow and on the jersey. so he had to get those chased up before he could shoot the free throws. Braxton Hill shoots the first free throw, makes it 58-57. The second free throw, he misses it. And Randy Stoltz, number 10, comes up with the rebound. Thought the clock was already running out, but there was still a little bit of time left. Got tied up, and the possession arrow belonged to Anaconda. Anaconda with 2.1 seconds to go in the ballgame, took it out underneath. Braden tried to find Braxton Hill, but he was covered up by Epperly, and Stoltz, to deny him that last shot, fed into Micheladas about the free throw line, takes one dribble, steps in, puts it up, but 33, Bo Santasteven comes out of nowhere and blocks the shot. Picked up by Randy Stoltz, who runs across the timeline and runs out the ball game. Your final 58-57. A heck of a game, and we're probably going to have a heck of a game tonight. If you didn't hear, the Vikings have already qualified and guaranteed a spot at state next week in Missoula starting on Tuesday. Because this afternoon at 3 o'clock in the Consolation Championship, it was the Anaconda Copperheads over the Florence Falcons 66-49. So Anaconda is going to become the biggest cheerleaders of Bigfork tonight. Because if Bigfork wins, they have an opportunity to challenge the Loyola Rams. And that game would come up on Monday. For now, let's meet the starting lineups. First of all, for the Rams, number 1, Jack Leakin, a 6'4" junior, who's their point guard. Number 2 is 5'10" senior Scotty Twite. Number 5, a 5'9" junior Jacob Hollenbach. Number 21 is a 6' senior, number 21, David Kopang, and a 6'4" senior, number 44, Joey McElroy. The Rams are led by head coach Eddie Stack, assisted by Brian Burns and David Weber. For the Vikings, a change in the lineup just a little bit from what we've been seeing, because Clayton's healthy tonight. So I hear 5'10" junior, number 0, Anders Epperly. 6'2" junior, number 1, Clayton Reichenbach. His twin brother, 6'2" junior, number 3, Colton Reichenbach. Number 30, Logan Gilliard, the 6'3" junior. A monster game with 21 against Anaconda. And number 33, the 6'6" senior, the man in the middle. Rounds out your starting lineup for the Vikings. Head coach Sam Tudor, assisted by Joe Pitts and Jim Epperly. Once again, folks, if you're listening out there, text me, 406-270-7384. I'm not sure how many are going to be streaming this in, probably from out of state, because I think the rest of Bigfork is here for this championship ball game. Followed up by the Valkyries in action at 8:30, as they'll take on the Deer Lodge Lady Wardens in the other championship. So it is a Bigfork basketball night. Nothing else to do on a Saturday night. They rolled up the streets, turned out the lights, locked the doors, and everybody from Bigfork down here at the Rodan Event Center for these back-to-back championship ball games. We'll be back with you in about 1 minute to kick things off. Somebody let me know that you can hear me out there listening. All right, folks, welcome back to the Rodan Event Center. It is championship night. The Loyola Rams taking on the Bigfork Vikings. You can't see it here, but on the south end, Loyola's lined up across the board at the free throw line, and the Vikings on the north end in their whites. Loyola in blue and blue, and the Vikings in their home whites with the light blue numbers for tonight's championship game. Rodan putting out all the things tonight, turning out the lights, the spotlight right there in the center, just like we have at Bigfork. And they're going to beat all the players tonight, I believe. So we'll get underway. We'll take this opportunity for you guys to listen to what's going on. And the PA announcer. Well, Tudor's listening down in Arizona. A shout out to you. You can't see the scene here. All the lights are out except for the spotlight lighting up the R. And the teams line up at each end as the PA announcer gives instructions of what's going on.
We would like to recognize all teams for making this a great tournament. And for tonight's teams, we'd like to begin by recognizing the managers, starting with the Loyola Rams. Beginning with Liam Lecter. And for the Bigfork Vikings, Logan McMahon.
Well, introducing the managers from both teams, come to center court and shake hands. That's real classy here for the championship ball game. So Logan McMahon, Alyssa Kalnick, Alyssa Maitland getting introduced. And Eli Hines, who's been injured and helping out. So he's on the roster but not playing.
For the Rams, number 12 is Jason Joe.
Introducing the reserves first.
And for the Vikings, Colton Reichenbach.
Colt Thornton getting introduced.
For the Rams, Bucky Crippen. And for the Vikings, Luke Taylor.
Luke Taylor getting introduced, number 14.
For the Rams, Cooper Waters. And for the Vikings, Brady Thornton. For the Rams, Bridger Bell. And for the Vikings, Randy Stoltz. For the Rams, Sean Cavilla. And for the
Stoltz gets introduced as well. Here comes Luke Smith, one of the reserve guards. Same with Stoltz. And
Charles Burns.
I'll tell you, number 10, Randy Stoltz has had a great tournament. Played great defense on Braxton Hill, limited him yesterday. And played most of the game and started yesterday, but Clayton back and healthy, so Clayton starting tonight. PA announcer looking for the reserves, thinking about.
Charles Burns and JJ Gibb. For the Rams, Ryan Terrell. And for the Vikings, Logan Taylor.
Logan Taylor, number 15, the senior, just like Chase Chapius. The reserves comes off the bench.
Charles Burns and Clayton Reichenbach. Meetings are nice and take place. And now for tonight's starters. For the Vikings, for the Rams, we will get this going. For the Rams, number 5, Jacob Hollenbeck.
Starting lineups getting introduced here. Colton Reichenbach.
For the Rams, number 1, Jack Lincoln.
Lincoln.
And for the Vikings, number 30, Logan Gilliard.
Logan Gilliard, 21 points yesterday.
Number 2, Scotty Twite.
Scotty Twite for the Rams getting introduced, starting tonight. We already went.
Viking captain, number 0, Anders
Epperly,
Epperly.
the junior captain and point guard for Bigfork, makes things run for the Vikings.
Number 44, Joey McElroy.
McElroy for Loyola.
And for the Vikings, number 33, Bo Santesteven.
Bo Santesteven, 6'6" senior, came up with a huge play of the block there at the end.
And Viking coach Jim Epperly. We need all the lights to do these. For the Rams, David Weber. And for the Vikings, Joe Pitts.
Hey, you forgot to introduce David Kopag, 21 starting,
And for the Vikings, head coach Sam
and Clayton Reichenbach, the other starter. So that could be difficult to introduce. All I know how that is I have done the PA before in the Divisionals. Well, we're going to kick things off. We're ready to go here. 8 minutes on the clock, the first quarter to get underway. It is the Rams and the Vikings. The Vikings already headed to this state tournament. The Rams trying to punch their ticket. And here's the tip between Santesteven and Kopang as we get things underway. Making sure we get all the lights back on. Todd Fisk and Chuck Dotson. Tip won by Loyola, Jack Lincoln with it, and John Kinzel from Butte, the other official. Hollenbeck over to Kopang, back to Hollenbeck, top of the key. Jack Lincoln underneath, feeds it to Galloway. Tries to feed it, stolen there by Anders Epperly. Epperly bringing it across the timeline at the midcourt line. Feeds it to Gilliard underneath. Basket! A nice pass there to Logan Gilliard by Epperly. And the Vikings score the first 2 points of this ball game. Hollenbeck feeds it over to Lincoln on the right side. Lincoln thinking about shooting a three. Draws up a three. Draws iron. And over the backboard. Out of play. It'll be Viking basketball. Logan Gilliard inbounding to Epperly. Epperly in the backcourt's going to bring it up the court slowly. Across the timeline is Epperly. Over on the right side of Clayton Reichenbach. Great to see him back on the court. Epperly to Logan Gilliard. Bo Santesteven down low. Back out to Epperly. To Clayton Reichenbach. Mid-range jumper from the free throw line is good for Reichenbach. 4-0 with 6:50 to go here in the first quarter. Hollenbeck over to Kopang. Back to Hollenbeck. Clayton providing defense. Hollenbeck driving it all the way, ditching it, and knocked away. Gilliard comes up with it to Epperly, to Clayton Reichenbach. Reichenbach floater, no good, gets his own rebound, feeds it out and taken away by Jack Lincoln. Lincoln dribble up, Epperly guards him. Lincoln at the top of the key, feeds over to Scotty Twite. Twite back to Lincoln, back to Twite. Twite looking underneath for Kopang. Kopang on the baseline, feeds it under McElroy and throws it out of bounds. Turnover to the Vikings as Luke Schmidt and number 5 and Logan Taylor, number 15, come in for Bigfork with 6:21. Taylor to take it out, passes it to Epperly. Epperly dribbling up the court. He'll cross half court into the front court. Over to Luke Schmidt on the right side, back to Epperly at the top of the key. Looking for Santesteven on the left side. Back to Epperly at the top. And Loyola in a zone defense. Taylor tries to force it in, stolen away by Gilliard. It's going to be a held ball called there between Gilliard and Hollenbeck. And the possession arrow points toward Bigfork. 5:58 here in the first quarter. The Vikings lead 4-0, and Epperly will inbound in the front court. Epperly finds Logan Gilliard on the right side, back to Epperly, up to Schmidt at the top of the key, back to Epperly on the right side, Epperly to drive. Jumper is good by Epperly, 6-0, 5:45 and counting. Hollenbeck to Twite, back to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck gets Twite across timeline to Joey McElroy as Twite drives it in and shoots it up. He's going to get fouled by number 33, Bo Santa-Steven. That is going to be Bo's first personal and first team foul on the Vikings. That Scotty Twite will go to line to shoot 2 for Bigfork. Number 21, Chase Chapius entering the ballgame for the Vikings. First free throw is good by Scotty Twite. Second free throw on the way and good. Taylor to Schmidt to Epperly in the front court to Chase Chapius as the Vikings bring it up out to Epperly to Schmidt. Finds Logan Taylor on the left side, back out to Schmidt and to Epperly. He's going to slow things down at the top of the key. Over to Schmidt on the right side. Back out to Epperly at the top of the key. Epperly feeds it into Logan Gilliard. Logan Gilliard's shot off the rim, no good. Lincoln comes up with it to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck driving all the way. Contested by Gilliard. And Kopang comes up with it, knocked away by Gilliard. Back to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck on the drive, no good. McElroy gets the rebound, puts it back up for 2. And 6-4. Vikings lead under 5 minutes to go here. Taylor into Epperly across the timeline, top of the key. Gilliard sets the screen. Hollenbeck guarding Epperly. Out to Logan Taylor. Got it by Twite. Kopang on Gilliard down to Chase Chapius on the baseline. Over to Schmidt. Schmidt the drive, kicks it Epperly over to Gilliard. Gilliard thought about the three-point shot. Logan Taylor to Anders Epperly. Three-point shot on the way, no good. But Taylor comes up with the rebound, and Lincoln ties him up. That is going to be a held ball, and the arrow points towards Loyola. Colton Reichenbach, Santa-Steven re-entered the ballgame for the Vikings. 4:30 to go, 6-4 Vikes lead into Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck driving it all the way. Contested there, shot off, and no good. Hollenbeck gets the rebound. Not sure, throws it up left-handed and scores. We're tied at 6. Schmidt to Epperly at the top of the key. He's going to drive all the way. Feeds to Colton Reichenbach. Shot on the way off the back of the rim, and he's going to be fouled. Is Colton Reichenbach. Fouls on number 21, his first personal, first team foul. That'll put Colton Reichenbach to the line for 2 shots for Bigfork. 6-6, 4:12 to go here in the first quarter. Reichenbach's first shot on the way and is good. One more free throw for Reichenbach as the Vikes take the lead 7-6. Reichenbach shot just short. Comes up short. McElroy with the rebound to Kopang, to Hollenbeck, to Jack Lincoln. Shot on the way. No good. And Twite comes over the back. Saved by McElroy to Twite, out to Kopang. Kopang with a three-point shot. It's good. 9-7 Rams. Up to Schmidt. Back to Epperly, top of the key, to Chase Chapius. Beautiful pass underneath to Chapius by Epperly for 2. We're tied at 9. 3:40 to go here in the first quarter. Hollenbeck with the ball over to Jack Lincoln. Jack Lincoln on the drive, feeds it to McElroy. McElroy goes up, and McElroy is fouled by number 21, Chase Chapius. That is his first personal and second team foul. McElroy will go to the line to shoot 2 for the Rams as we're tied here at 9 and 3:31 to go here in the first quarter. Makes the first one. Number 11, Ryan Terrell in for the Rams. Clayton Reichenbach returns for the Vikings. Second shot, no good. Santa-Steven with the rebound. He'll feed it up the right side to Epperly. 10-9. Clayton to Chase Chapius. Chapius out to Clayton, to Epperly, over to Logan Gilliard on the left side. To Chase Chapius on the drive. Chapius up. Oh, in and out, no good. But Chapius is fouled on the shot. That foul is going to be on number 2, Scotty Twite. Scotty Twite with his second team foul. As Chapius, number 21, goes to the line for 2 shots. 2 free throws for Chapius. First one on the way and good. We're tied at 10 with 3:16 to go here in the ball game. Checked that before, was number 11, Charles Burns. Now number 10, Ryan Terrell in the ball game for the Rams. Second shot is on the way and good by Chapius. The Whites take the lead 11-10 with 3:15 to go. Pass intended over there for Charles Burns. Thrown away by Kopang and out of bounds. That'll be the Vikings basketball in the front court on the far side. Inbounding from Chapius to Epperly. Epperly back to Chapius. Looking inside to Santa Stephen. Back out to Epperly. Epperly over to Santa Stephen on the right side. Back to Epperly. Epperly looking underneath to Logan Gilliard. Gilliard to Chase Chapius. Chapius with a nice move up and under for 2. So Chapius having a huge first quarter. 13-10, 2:50 to go here in the first quarter. And the Vikings lead up to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln to Terrell. Drives it to the basket. And Santa Stephen meets him right there, but Terrell draws the foul. And that'll be foul number 33, Bo Santa Stephen. His second, third team foul. Ryan Terrell to the line, 2 shots. First shot off the back of the rim and no good. So number 15, Logan Taylor, will come in and replace Santa Stephen, who has 2 personal fouls here in the first quarter. Second shot by Terrell is good. So 1 of 2, 13-11, 2:40. Logan Taylor to Epperly, to Clayton Reichenbach, to Epperly, to Chase Chapius. Chase Chapius is bumped there by Charles Burns. That's a personal foul on Burns, his first third team foul. Epperly to take it out of the far side on the left side. He feeds it into Chase Chapius at the top of the key. Chapius looking, finds Clayton Reichenbach on the left side. Out to Epperly, the top of the key. 2:30 and counting. Vikes lead 13-11 over to Chapius. Chapius inside to Logan Taylor. Taylor takes it and drives it. Gets the shot up and he's going to be fouled, so he'll head to the free throw line. And foul is called on 21, David Kopang, his second and 14th foul. Logan Taylor to the line for 2 free throws. First shot off the back of the rim and no good. Jacob Hollenbach, number 5, returning for Loyola. Colton Reichenbach, number 3, back in for the Vikings. And number 10, Randy Stoltz, replacing Anders Epperly. Back in for the Rams, replacing Kopang, is Joey McElroy with 2:21 to go here in the first quarter, and the Vikes lead 13-11, and a second shot on by Logan Taylor. Logan Taylor shot up and nothing but the bottom of the net. 14-11, 2:20 to go to Lincoln. Terrell with the basketball, dribbling up the left side, back out to Scotty Twite. Twite at the top of the key, guarded there by Reichenbach. That's Colton. And Vikes in a man defense. Jack Lincoln at the top, guarded by Chase Chapius. Lincoln tries to force it, throws up the floater to Lincoln for 2. 14-13, just under 2 minutes to go as Randy Stoltz brings it across the timeline, feeds over to Colton Reichenbach. Looking inside at Gilliard, back out to Stoltz. Stoltz guarded by Twite. Logan Taylor on the left side. Stoltz back to Stoltz at the top of the key. Over to Logan Gilliard. 3-point shot on the way off the rim, but Logan Taylor hustles. Nope. Loose ball coming up there by Scotty Twite. Dribbles across the timeline into the front court. Feeds it over to Lincoln. Lincoln 3-point shot on the way. It's long, and Colton Reichenbach rips down the rebound strong. Feeds it to Stoltz. Stoltz into the front court. 1:17 to go. Feeds inside. Logan Gilliard up and under. Scores the bucket. There's Logan Gilliard. and he's fouled on the play. He'll go to the free throw line to shoot the and one. The foul is on number 44, Joey McElroy, his first and 15th foul. Epperly to returning for the Vikings, replacing Logan Taylor. Gilliard at the line, trying to earn the three-point play the old-fashioned way as the Vikes lead 16-13. Shot on the way by Gilliard. That shot is good. Stretches it out, 17-13, 112. Over to Twite, back to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck bringing it in the front court. Across the timeline, guarded there by Epperly. 105 and counting. Over to Twite on the right side. Down to the corner, McElroy out to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck looking for, finds Twite on the right side. Jack Lincoln on the left side. McElroy fumbles the pass out to Lincoln underneath the Terrell. Over to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln thinking about taking three. Doesn't shoot it. Steps back. Chase Chapey is right there. Hollenbeck, 40 seconds and counted. 17-13. Hollenbeck to Twite. Looking underneath for Terrell. Back out to Hollenbeck at the top of the key. Looking at home for one shot with 30 seconds to go. Stoltz putting the pressure on Hollenbeck. He's on the right side. Looking underneath, dribbling up the left side. As Stoltz putting good defense on. Pass nearly stolen there. And the foul is going to be called on the ground. Foul's on number 21. That's Chase Chapius. That'll be his second and 15th foul. 16.7 to go here in the first quarter. An exciting ball game, a championship ball game. 17-1. Lincoln takes it out, feeds into Hollenbeck on the left side. Hollenbeck spins, takes it out to the top of the key with 12 seconds and counting. Hollenbeck driving left side. Chapius right there. He throws it outside of Twite. Twite, three-point shot on the way, and Twite drains the three at the buzzer. A long shot by Epperly, no good. So, one quarter complete. I don't know if you're out of breath, but I sure am. The Vikings lead 17-16 at the end of one. Epperly gets two. Clayton Reichenbach, two. Colton Reichenbach, 1 for 2 from the line for one. Logan Taylor, 1 from 2. Chapius, 2 for 2 and 2 buckets. He has 6 points in the first quarter. And Logan Gilliard with 5 for a total of 17. For the Rams, Lincoln with 2. It's Twite with 5. 2 for Hollenbeck, 1 for Terrell, 1 and 2 from the free throw line. Both bang with that 3-point shot, and 3 points by McElroy. For a total of 16 in the first quarter. Vikings get the possession to start the second quarter. And Epperly with the ball. Top of the key, feeds it over to Clayton Reichenbach. Santa Stephen in the ball game. Colton Reichenbach, Logan Gilliard. Santa Stephen thought about the three on the left side. He looks underneath, finds Epperly at the top of the key. And Epperly over to Colton Reichenbach. Stepped in there. There's Jack Lincoln. Lincoln drives it to the bucket, and he's going to be fouled as Epperly got back. Lincoln steps in that pass. That's a first personal on Epperly with 7:35 to go. The Vikings lead 17-16. Lincoln with 2 free throws. First one is up and good. That'll tie the ball game at 17-17 with 7:35 to go here to halftime. Second shot on the way for Lincoln, and Lincoln makes it. That's Jack Lincoln. 7:35 up to Epperly. Epperly the right side to Colton Reichenbach. McElroy pushing Santa Stephen up, gets it inside to Gilliard. Gilliard with the floater with a nice pass by Reichenbach. And the Vikings take the lead 19-18. Hollenbeck over to Twite, back to Hollenbeck, guarded as Hollenbeck breaks to the front court. Looks like the Vikes are in a zone. Schmidt in the ball game, Epperly, Logan Gilliard, Colton Reichenbach, and Santa Stephen over to Twite, back out to Hollenbeck, top of the key. McElroy at the free throw line, knocked away by Epperly. Epperly up to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen is knocked out of bounds by McElroy, and we're looking right here to see what's going on. And they're going to call a traveling violation on Santa Stephen, no foul, as McElroy absolutely hammers Bo. 6:57 to go, 19-18 Vikings, and the rivalry continues. Hollenbeck takes steps across the timeline, thought he traveled there, up the left side, driving in, and he's going to get called for the travel as Hollenbeck skips. It'll be turned over to the Vikings. Colton Reichenbach inbounds the ball to Luke Schmidt. Luke Schmidt bringing up the court, gives it to Epperly in the backcourt. Epperly across the timeline, over to Luke Schmidt. Epperly, back to Epperly, over to Schmidt, top of the key. Logan Gary on the left side, back to Schmidt, back to Epperly. Epperly on the right side wing, looking underneath, finds Luke Schmidt to Colton Reichenbach, broken up there by David Kopang. So Viking basketball as Schmidt takes it out of bounds. Passes into Epperly. 19-18. Epperly over to Colton Reichenbach. Back to Epperly at the top of the key. Epperly driving, finds Luke Schmidt over to Logan Geard into Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen around McElroy. Drives up and makes the bucket to Santa Stephen as he drives around Joey McElroy. Basket is good. It's a second personal foul on McElroy and a 16th foul on the Rams. And Clayton Reichenbach will come back in for Bigfork. Santa Stephen gets to go to the line to shoot the and one. And Santa Stephen's shot. We got to see if the free. So what happened there, the free throw was shot as they got position. Personal fouls on McElroy as tries to clear somebody out. So the free throw, they say, is good as it went down for Santa Stevens. Logan Geary gets fouled by McElroy. That puts the Vikings in a 1-1. Logan Geary at the line to shoot the 1-1 for Bigfork. First shot on the way, a little bit harder, no good. Kopang comes up with the rebound. 22-18, 6 minutes to go. Up to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln going inside, looking for Terrell. Terrell to Lincoln. Stolen by Logan Gilliard. Up the right side to Epperly across the timeline. And Epperly is going to be called for the player control foul as Hollenbeck takes the charge. Beckman's in Williston, North Dakota, cheering on the Vikings. Thanks for calling or texting me. Let me know. 406-270. Dwight with the basketball across the timeline. Feeds it to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck over to Dwight. Back to Hollenbeck. Schmidt out top. Zone defense. Hollenbeck drives it in over Santa Stephen. No good. Rebound there by Logan Gilliard. And a strong rebound by Gilliard. Gilliard is fouled by number 10, Ryan Terrell. That is the first foul on Terrell and 18th foul. Logan Gilliard back at the line to shoot a 1-1 for the Vikings with 5:33 to go here to halftime, and the Vikes lead 22-18. Gilliard's first shot is on the way and off the back of the rim and drops in that shooter's roll. Gilliard gets 23-18. The Vikings lead by 5. Gilliard's second shot up and rattles out, no good. So Vikings up by 5, quickly up the court. Lincoln to Hollenbeck, up left side, Schmidt right on him. Out to David Kopang. Kopang calling Hambrack to come get the basketball. Hollenbeck at the top of the key, guarded there by Schmidt. Over to Kopang on the left side, back to Hollenbeck. Over to Dwight on the right side, into Jack Lincoln. Lincoln tries to go up. His shot is blocked and out of bounds off the Rams. It will be Bigfork basketball. Japius will come in the ball game for Santa Stephen, as Santa Stephen has 2. Keep him out of foul trouble. 5:09 to go here And Chase Chapius in the ballgame feeds it to Epperly. Charles Burns back in for Loyola. Epperly across the timeline over to Colton Reichenbach. Clayton, excuse me. Back to Epperly, over to Chase Chapius. Chapius finds Epperly. Epperly's going to drive it in, shoots it off the board, and no good. And Terrell will come up with that rebound. Feeds it to Hollenbeck, across the timeline to Charles Burns, back to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck to Charles Burns, stolen, intended for Lincoln by Gilliard. Epperly dribbling up across the timeline, feeds Clayton Reichenbach, a long three on the way, off the rim, and no good. Lincoln with the basketball, feeding down, too long. As Charles Burns loses his shoe. As they say, Charles threw his shoe there. And 4:26 to go. Randy Stoltz back in for the Vikings as Burns gets his shoe back on. He's racing for that pass from Lincoln that goes out of bounds. Chapius to inbound to Epperly. We have Luke Schmidt, Randy Stoltz, Logan Gilliard in the ballgame. Hollenbeck, Charles Burns, Kopang, Terrell, and Lincoln in for the Rams. 4:23 and counting. Epperly dribbling across the timeline, brings it into the front court at the top of the key, and Hollenbeck right there to guard him. Epperly taking his time, surveying what's going on, feeds it over the left side to Gilliard, back to Epperly, over to Gilliard. Gilliard's shot from the mid-range. Gilliard's shot is good for two. 25-18, 4 minutes to go. And the Rams will call timeout as we have 4 minutes to go here to halftime. And the Vikings stretch the lead to 25-18, up by 7. And the Bigfork crowd is on their feet. I'll take a short 30-second break. Be right here. Shout out to Ed Buttry listening over in Great Falls. 406-270. I'm glad you guys could catch the game. Another great game. The Vikings out strong today with a better second quarter than they had yesterday, where they only scored 4 points. So stretching the lead 25-18. Now, the Vikings are already in the state tournament next week because Anaconda won. Loyola trying to get there. They have to beat Bigfork today to avoid the challenge, but if Bigfork wins, Loyola will be challenged by Anaconda. So we got 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. 25-18, the ball inbound to Hollenbeck in the backcourt from Charles. Across to Charles to Terrell. Out to Hollenbeck on the right side. Feeds it to Jack Lincoln, out to Charles. Charles over to Hollenbeck. Looks to shoot it, can't get his shot off. Out to Charles. Stoltz out there to guard Hollenbeck, over to Terrell. Terrell at the top of the key, over to Hollenbeck to Jack Lincoln. Jack Lincoln on the drive. Shot up and no good. Brought down. And Terrell comes up with the loose ball. Terrell tries to feed it out. And Hollenbeck, Stoltz tried to get it, and is fouled by Randy Stoltz as Hollenbeck. As inadvertently, Stoltz tried to get the loose ball, that's all, and he hits Hollenbeck. Bo Santa-Stephen in for Schmidt. Hollenbeck will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. That is his first foul on Stoltz, 17th foul. 25-18, 3:21, and Hollenbeck at the line with a 1-and-1. First shot is good for Hollenbeck. So Lincoln, Charles, Hollenbeck, Kopang, and Terrell for the Rams. Stoltz, Epperly, Chapius, Santa-Stephen, and Gilliard for the Vikes. Second shot goes good. 25-23 counting. 3:17 and counting. Epperly to Gilliard to Santa-Stephen. Santa-Stephen's guard. Shot blocked, but takes it back up. And he's going to call for traveling. Is Santa-Stephen. And number 2, Scotty Twite returns for Loyola for Hollenbeck. 3:09 to go, 25-20. And I see Jimmy and Becky from Georgia listening in to the ball game as Logan Taylor re-enters for the Vikings, replacing Chase Chapius. In to Scotty Twite. back to Jack Lincoln, over to Charles. Charles harassed there by Stoltz. Terrell takes it in on left-handed shot on Santa Stephen. Does Terrell, because Bo's got two. He's got to be careful. 25-22, 250 as Epperly brings it across the timeline. Epperly is going to drive it all the way in, and Kopang with the rebound drives it all the way. Kopang is quick. Around the back goes Kopang, and Kopang is going to get 2 free throws as he's fouled by number 30, Logan Gear. That's his first 8th team foul. 2:38 to go here to halftime, and the Rams have pulled within 3, 25-22, as Kopang will go to the line to shoot 2. First shot for Kopang is good. 25-23. Colton Reichenbach, number 1, back in for the Vikings. Epperly, Taylor, second shot is good. Gilliard and Santa Stephen. Taylor into Epperly in the backcourt. 2:35, 25, 24. Vikes, Epperly across the timeline to Colton Reichenbach. In the corner to Logan Taylor, harassed, knocked out of bounds by David Kopang. And it'll remain Bigfork basketball. Number 5. Jacob Hollenbach returning. Number 3, Colton Reichenbach returning, and will take it out of bounds for the Vikings with 2:26 to go. Into Epperly on the right side, guarded there by Hollenbach. Into Bo, Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen tries to find Colton, stolen by Twite. Twite dribbles it up across the timeline over to Hollenbach on the left side. Out to Jack Lincoln, to Terrell. Terrell in on Santa Stephen. Throws it up off the backboard, and good. The Rams take the lead 26-25 with 2 minutes to go. Epperly across the timeline. Back to Colton Reichenbach, back to Epperly. Over to Logan Gilliard on the left side. Logan back to Epperly. Epperly top of the key, guarded by Hollenbach. To Logan Gilliard, 3-point shot on the way, no good, but Santa Stephen with the rebound and puts it back and in for Santa Stephen, and the Vikes back on top, 27-26. Hollenbach to Kopang, 1:30 to go. To Kopang in the corner, to Twite, into Lincoln. Lincoln can't handle the pass, out of bounds of Vikings basketball with 1:28 to go. Gilliard into Epperly. 27-26 Vikings. And Epperly brings it in the front court across the timeline. Finds Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen looking inside. Feeds Colton Reichenbach. Long 3 on the way. It's good! Splashdown! Colton Reichenbach. 30-26. 109. Ball into Twite. Back to Hollenbach. Back over to Twite. Up the right side goes Twite. Feeds in the corner to Kopang. Kopang looking for Hollenbach. Top of the key. Over to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln on the drive. And traveling is going to be called on Lincoln with 57 seconds to go. 30-26. The Vikings lead. And Gilliard to inbound the ball to Anders Epperly. 30-26, Vike Epperly at the top of the key over to Colton Reichenbach. Long 3 on the way, no good, but Colton with the rebound out to Epperly, top of the key. Epperly with the out to Logan Gilliard, 3 on the way, no good off the rim as Colton Reichenbach tries to save it, and no good. 37 seconds to go here in the first half. The Vikings lead 30-26. Inbound to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln up the left side, guarded by Epperly and Clayton. Oh, to Kopang. Kopang on the drive. He's going to score over Santa Stephen. Does Kopang. 30-28 with 25 seconds to go. Gilliard into Epperly. Epperly walking it up. They'll get one more shot before halftime. Will the Vikings. Epperly with the basketball. And Hollenbach guarding him. Epperly to go in the corner. Finds Colton Reichenbach. Over to Colton Reichenbach. Over to Colton. Back to Epperly. Epperly's 3-point shot on the way. No good, but Clayton with the shot. Throws it up. No good. And that's going to be end of the half. And a great first half as the Rams come back down by 1. They're down by 2 as the Vikings outscore them by 1. Your halftime score, the Bigfork Vikings 30 and the Loyola Rams 28. Stick around here. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll have a little bit of stats for you here momentarily. Matt Bravecchio from Bigfork listening in, catching the game. Thanks for listening in, everybody out there. Yeah, we have a great ball game here for the championship between Bigfork and Loyola, the two #1 seeds respectively out of 7B and 6B. It's an unbelievable game here at halftime. We'll be back. I'll give you the stats here in about 2 minutes. All right, folks, welcome back to the Ronan Event Center. At halftime of this championship ball game for the Western B Divisional Tournament, it is the Vikings leading the Rams 30-28. Take a look at your first half stats. For Loyola, Lincoln with 4 points. Twite put up 5. 4 by Hollenbeck. 5 by Ryan Terrell, 7 by Kopang, and 3 by McElroy. 16 in the first quarter, 12 in the second for 28 total. For the Vikings, Epperly with 2 in the first quarter, Colton Reichenbach with 5, a big, huge 3. Glad to see Clayton back on the floor and being productive. He's pretty much almost healed all the way. Colton Reichenbach 1 for 2 at the free throw line, has 1 point. Logan Taylor 1 for 2 with a free throw and 1. Chase Chapius puts up 6 in the first quarter. A great first quarter for Chapius coming off the bench. Bo Santa-Stephen puts up 5 in the second quarter. And Logan Gilliard with 10 points at halftime to lead the Vikings. 17 in the first quarter, 13 in the second, as they outscore Loyola both times by 1, and 30 the total. 30-28, Bigfork leading here at halftime of the Western B Boys Championship ball game. After yesterday in that double overtime win by the Vikes, this one's looked like maybe be heading that way. We'll see how the third quarter goes. Foul trouble for a couple of the Vikes. Epperly with 2, Chase with 2, and Santa-Stephen with 2. 4. The Rams. Kopang has 2, but McElroy has 3. Picked up 3 in the first half, 1 on an offensive player control foul on a rebound. So Santa-Stephen completed the 3-point play, and then Logan Gilliard got to shoot 2 more free throws, making 1 of 2. So once again, if you're listening out there, 406-270-7384. Sorry I had to take a little bit of a break, take care of some business, so I can survive here in the second half and keep you. I'm so ecstatic. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes of Vows, with you, and I am absolutely ecstatic and happy to be able to be doing this and bringing the games to you. It is so much fun. The boys and girls for Bigfork is playing absolutely great basketball and just wonderful kids. So the Bigfork High School Pep Band entertaining you. A little bit of Rocky takes me back to high school. And I remember back high school in the 70s as a trombone player, we played the theme from Rocky, where that movie had just come out in the late 70s, so takes me back a little bit. We'll get your second half starters here. Here momentarily for each of the teams. So, to understand, the Vikings are already set by Anaconda winning this afternoon against Florence. There's no challenge possibility because the Vikings beat Anaconda yesterday 58-57. But I'm sure the Vikings want to continue and they want to win this championship. That's on their mind. Loyola, no, they're fighting for a spot at state next week, which takes place in Missoula, right in their backyard. So they're going to fight hard under Coach Eddie Stack to try to get this ball game, get the automatic berth. Okay, for the Vikings, Epperly, the Reichenbach brothers, Clayton and Colton, Logan Gilliard and Bo Santa-Stephen. 4. The Rams, it'll be Jack Lincoln, Scotty Twite, Jacob Hockenbach, David Kopang, and Joey McElroy. To start the second half, it'll be Ram basketball, and Kopang to inbounds to Hollenbeck. into the back court. Hollenbach to bring it in to the front court. On the left side, left to right on your radio dial, guarded there by Clayton Reichenbach. Twite on the drive, over to Kopang, out to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln guarded there by Colton Reichenbach to Joey McElroy. Hollenbach driving, takes it up, no good, and Clayton Reichenbach gives it up to Epperly as he comes off the rebound. Epperly all the way on the drive, and that foul is going to be called on the floor. That foul is going to be out of number 21. That's David Kopang's third and first team foul here in the second half. 7:29 to go underneath. Try to inbounds and player control foul on Bo Stanis-Stevens. That's his third and first team. Twite inbounds to Hollenbach. Hollenbach in the backcourt, dribbling across the timeline of the front court. Reichenbach, Clayton, and Epperly. Ball goes over to Jack Lincoln. Back out to Hollenbach. Over to Twite. Twite looking for Kopang in the corner. Guarded by Gilliard. Out to Lincoln. Taken away by Epperly. Epperly on the drive, dumps it to Gilliard for the layup. And 2 points for Gilliard, 32-28, 7 minutes to go. Twite into Hollenbach. Hollenbach brings it across the timeline. On the left side, guarded there by Clayton Reichenbach. Hollenbach in the corner to McElroy. Out to Scotty Twite. Twite looking for Hollenbach. Colton Reichenbach right there guarding him. Kick ball by Colton Reichenbach out of bounds. Remain Ram basketball. Santa's team with 3 fouls is going to come out of the ball game as Tudor puts in Chase Chapius, who had a huge first quarter for the Vikings with 6 points. Inbound is Lincoln for the Rams. Out to Twite on the left side to Hollenbach. Back to Lincoln. Lincoln turnaround jumper is no good. Rebounded there by Gilliard. Gives it to Epperly. Epperly, guarded by Lincoln, brings it across the timeline. Finds Clayton Reichenbach, 3-point shot. Oh, ribs in and out and no good. Twite with the rebound, brings it across the timeline in the front court. Over to Hollenbach. Hollenbach on the left side. Out to Twite. Twite over to Jack Lincoln. Looking underneath McElroy on the baseline. Back to Lincoln. Lincoln fakes the three, out to Twite, top of the key, Hollenbach, over to McElroy. McElroy trying to drive on Gilliard, shot no good. Chase Chapius with the rebound, comes up, gives it to Epperly. Epperly across the timeline, in the front court, looking for Clayton Reichenbach on the right side, back out to Epperly. Epperly surveying, finds Colton Reichenbach, layup and good, and he's getting fouled. And I think that's on McElroy, and if it is, it's his fourth. Colton Reichenbach, and that is the fourth personal foul on Joey McElroy. He's going to have to come out of the ball game. And Terrell will enter in for the Rams. Colton at the line to shoot the and one, shot up and rolls off the rim, no good. Logan Taylor in for Bigfork. Kopang on the drive all the way. Oh, and Kopang picks up his fourth, as well as Logan Gilliard is set in the lane, and Kopang crashes into him. Gilliard really good at picking up the charge or player control. Taylor into Epperly. Across the timeline, 34-28, 5:30 and counting here in the third quarter. Over to Colton Reichenbach, out to Epperly. Epperly looking underneath, looking for Gilliard. Gilliard to Clayton Reichenbach, shot up and swish, bottom of the net for Clayton Reichenbach, 36-28, quickly up to Terrell in the corner, out to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln guarded by Clayton Reichenbach. On the left side, Clayton over to Scotty Twite. Twite holding it on the right side, and 5:02 and counting, over to Charles Burns. Charles Burns guarded by Colton. Out to Hollenbach. Hollenbach over to Terrell. Out back to Hollenbach. Oh, Terrell over to Twite on the left side. Back out to Hollenbach. Over to Charles Burns. And a timeout. A full timeout is called by Loyola. 4:45 to go here in the third quarter. And the Vikings stretch the lead to 8 points as they lead 36-28. The Vikings putting in 6 points and holding the Rams scoreless here in the second half with their great defense and rebounding capability. It's good. Colton Reichenbach is back. That's 7 points as he hits another 2-pointer from the elbow. Santa Stephen returning for the Vikes. So for Bigfork, we have Colton Reichenbach, Epperly, Gilliard, Santa Stephen, and Logan Taylor. And for the Rams, it is Charles Burns, Hollenbeck, Jack Lincoln, Scotty Twite, and Ryan Terrell. Inbound to Hollenbeck, over to Twite, in the corner to Terrell. Terrell getting guarded there by Taylor. Over to Hollenbeck, to Burns, to Twite in the corner. Looking for Jack Lincoln. That is a 5-second call. Great defense there once again by the Vikings. 4:28 to go here, 36-28. Taylor into Epperly, across the timeline to Gilliard, to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen out to Epperly, 3-point shot on the way, and nothing but the bottom of the net by Epperly. 38-28. 4:13 to go. Hollenbeck into Jack Lincoln. Lincoln's roller falls in at the key over Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen, be careful. In the ball. Epperly quickly up to Santa Stephen. Spin move. Shot on the way. In and out. But Colton Reichenbach back up and in for the Vikings. 41-30. 3:50 to go. Hollenbeck with the basketball. Over to Jack Lincoln. Back to Hollenbeck. Shot on the way by Hollenbeck. That shot is good for 2. And 41-32, 3:40 and counting. Quickly up. Colton Reichenbach shot off Terrell. Rebound as Epperly feeds it to Reichenbach. Terrell gives it to Lincoln. Lincoln across the timeline. 41-32 to Twite. To Burns. Burns in the corner, guarded by Gilliard. Hollenbeck over to Terrell on the left side now. Top of the key is Hollenbeck. Feeds it over to Charles Burns. Nearly stolen there by Logan Gilliard. And back in the ballgame is Colton Reichenbach for Logan Taylor. So the Reichenbachs, Epperly, Gilliard, and Santa Stephen for the Vikings. And they're going to check officials' timeout as they check something for the Rams. Burns, Lincoln, Terrell, Hollenbeck, and Twite on the floor for the Rams. So the Rams basketball. Charles Burns will inbound, gives it to Twite in the corner. Fed to Lincoln, knocked out of bounds by Colton Reichenbach. Nice defense there. And it'll be Jack Lincoln inbounding for the Rams underneath. Lincoln knocks it off Santa Stevens and picks it up and lays it in. Quickly in, Colton Reichenbach to Epperly across the timeline. Logan Gilliard to Santa Stephen. Over to Epperly. Epperly looking inside, finds Colton Reichenbach on the right side. Launches a 3 and no good. Santa Stephen with the rebound, and he is going to be fouled on the rebound there by number 11. That's Charles Burns. That'll be his second and 14th foul. Epperly to inbound. Santa Stephen right there, takes it up and gets hammered. Santa Stephen will head to the line as Epperly threw it right into Santa Stephen, breaking for the basket. He's fouled by number 2, Scotty Twite. Twite's second and 15th foul. Santa Stephen to the line to shoot 2 for the Vikings as they lead 41-34. First shot on the way. That's a rare miss by Santa Stevens. Randy Stoltz in for Colton Reichenbach. 41-34, 2:47 to go here in the third quarter. Second shot is good for Santa Stephen. Up by 8, 42-34, 2:45 and counting into Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck guarded there by Stoltz. Stoltz Hollenbeck over to Twite. Shot on the way, blocked by Logan Gilliard. Randy Stoltz comes up with the ball, feeds over to Epperly across the timeline. Over Logan Gilliard. Goes in the air off the backboard, and good for two by Gilliard. Quickly in, Terrell to Hollenbeck. Guarded by Stoltz, 2:20 and counting. Hollenbeck over to Jack Lincoln. Lincoln's long three-point shot, no good. Rebounded there by Santa Stevens. Gives it to Epperly. Epperly looking up the court, across the timeline, looking to run. Epperly all the way, jumper on the way is good by Anders Epperly. 46-34, 2 minutes to go. Into Dwight, across the timeline, top of the key. Jack Lincoln trying to drive on Colton Reichenbach, and it looks like Reichenbach is going to be called for the foul. He is. Fast-paced action as the Vikings like to push it. Number 25, Bridger Bell checking in. 21, Chase Chapius for the Vikes. And loose ball getting on the floor and getting dirty. And Bridger Bell is fouled by Randy Stoltz, number 10. That is second, his third team foul. Dwight will bring inbounds the ball. He looks for Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck's three-point shot, no good. And Stoltz comes up the rebound, gives it to Epperly with 1:40 to go in the third quarter. Epperly, Chase Chapius. Epperly, top of the key. Survey and see what's open. Over to Stoltz on the right side. Back to Epperly, who fakes the three-point shot, guarded by Burns. Colton Reichenbach. Epperly, top of the key. Epperly's going to drive, shoots it up, and no good. Dwight coming up with the rebound with 1:20 to go. Over to Terrell across the timeline. Back to Dwight. Dwight at the top of the key, Over to Hollenbeck, back to Dwight with 1:09 to go. 46-34, Vikes lead. Dwight dribbles over gives it to Charles Burns in the corner. Feeds number 25, blocked there by Colton Reichenbach. Is Bridger Bell. Terrell puts it back up, but then Bell knocks it back in for two. Epperly slowly brings it across the timeline for the Vikings with 40 seconds of counting and a 10-point lead. 46-36 over to Stoltz on the right side. Back to Colton Reichenbach on the left side. Looking for Epperly. Epperly takes the ball from Colton Reichenbach, guarded there by Hollenbeck. And Epperly is going to drive on Hollenbeck. Logan Gilliard in the corner for three. No good. And out of bounds on Scotty Dwight. They're battling there with Randy Stoltz. And it will be Bigfork basketball underneath with 22 seconds to go. And they lead by 10, 46-36. Epperly inbound. Finds Gilliard. Gilliard's short jumper is good for two. 48-36, 17 seconds into Terrell. Up to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck with 13 seconds. Top of the key. Epperly bothering Hollenbeck. Going to be trapped by Clayton. Gives him the corner to Bridger Bell. Over to Dwight. Dwight to Charles Burns. Shot on the way. No good is Logan Gilliard. Epperly gets the rebound. The clock runs out. And a fast-paced third quarter. With 18 points for the Vikes. And 8, so the Vikings outscore Loyola 18-8 by 10. That gives them the 10-point lead, or 12-point lead. I look at my math here again. I had it right, 48-36, heading to the fourth quarter. And Logan Gilliard, big quarter, had 6, 5 by Epperly, 4 by Clayton Reichenbach. Colton with 2. Santa Stephen 1 for 2 for the line. Total of 18 and 48. Lincoln had 4, Hollenbeck 2. Bridger Bell off the bench scores 2, number 25 for 8 and 36 overall. Well, Kopang and McElroy going to have to come in the ball game. Both have 4 personals. Lincoln as well. Dwight and Hollenbeck, Bigfork basketball. Gilliard into Epperly along with Clayton Reichenbach, Colton Reichenbach, and Santa Stevens. in to Santa Stevens over McElroy, because McElroy has 4, has to be careful. Santa Stevens with the bucket, 50-36, 7:40 go. And Hollenbeck with the basketball over to Twite, back to McElroy on the baseline, back to Twite, Twite over to Hollenbeck. His three-point shot on the way, and Hollenbeck drains the three, 50-39 with 7:30 to go. Gilliard into Epperly, across the timeline, top of the key. He's looking for Santa Stevens. Santa Stevens drives off the rim and no good, as he's taking it right at McElroy, who has 4 personals. Hollenbeck up the court. Inside to McElroy. McElroy with a 2-point bucket. Epperly fouled in the backcourt by Hollenbeck. He tries to steal it from him. Not sure what that was. He's 45 feet from the basket. It'll be Bigfork basketball. It's Hollenbeck's second. First personal and 16th foul. 6:58 to go in this ball game, this championship ball game, and the Vikes lead 50-41. Inbounded Logan Gilliard to Epperly. Over to Colton Reichenbach, back to Epperly. Going to be patient here are the Vikings. Santa Stevens on the right side feeds it to Clayton Reichenbach, takes it up, no good, but gets his own rebound, brings it out, feeds it out to Epperly, and Epperly fakes it. Clayton Reichenbach, 3-point shot on the way by Clayton Reichenbach. 53-41, 6:31 to go here in this championship ball game. Reichenbach, Clayton that is back at 100% tonight for the Vikings. The Vikings lead 53-41, so a 12-point lead here in the fourth quarter in this championship ball game. 7:01. Somebody out there, coverage is great, thanks. I'm not sure who you are. Let me know what your name is. Matt says, like we're there, keep it up. Just checked 40 plus tuning in. Well, I'm glad you folks can have this ball game. Twite inbounding to Hollenbeck in the backcourt, 6:30 and counting. Hollenbeck's going to dribble it up. It's great to be here with you. James LaFontaine from the Ronan Event Center in this championship ball game. Hollenbeck going to drive, gives it over to Twite. Twite driving on Epperly, and Twite gets a shot up. He's going to be fouled by Anders Epperly. That is Epperly's third personal and team foul number 4. Twite to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws. First shot up and good. 53-42, 6:17 left in this ball game. Twite's second shot on the way and is good. Brings it within 10, 6:15, 53-43. Epperly over to Gilliard, back to Epperly. Full court pressure by the Rams. Over to Colton Reichenbach, to Clayton Reichenbach. Shot on the way short. Tips it out. Hollenbeck comes up with a loose ball. Hollenbeck driving all the way. Hollenbeck absolutely runs over Colton Reichenbach. It could have gone either way. It's going to go against Colton on the block. That will send Hollenbeck to the line to shoot 2 free throws. And that is second foul on Colton. 15th foul. Hollenbeck to the line, makes the first. 53-44, 9-point lead with 6 minutes to go here in the ball game. Hollenbeck gets the basketball. His second free throw, the left-hander on the way, and he makes it. 8-point lead, 53-45. Gilliard into Epperly, up to Gilliard, up to Colton Reichenbach. Santa Stevens underneath, up, and good by Santa Stevens. Nice pass. Bigfork moves the basketball quickly into Hollenbeck across the timeline for the Rams. 55-45, 5:40 and counting. Hollenbeck top of the key. Over to Jack Lincoln on the left side. Lincoln going to drive. And Santa Stevens goes up, tries to reject it. And Lincoln's floater is going to be good. Fouls on Santa Stephen. That will be Bo's fourth and 16th foul. Lincoln to shoot the N1 for the Rams, 55-47. And Lincoln's shot is no good. Santa Stephen with the rebound, 8-point lead, 5:30 to go in this ball game. Into Epperly. The Rams kind of back out on their defensive pressure as Bigfork pretty much broke it, making layups. Over to Colton Reichenbach, Santa Stephen top of the key. Logan Gilliard looking for Epperly underneath. Epperly in the key. He's going to drive, takes it up, and is fouled. He will shoot two as the foul is on Jack Lincoln. Lincoln's foul, number 1, and 17th foul. Epperly to the line for the Vikes. He'll get 2. First shot up and good for Epperly. Santa Stephen out of the ball game. Chase Chapius returning for the Vikings. 5:12 to go here. 56-47, and Epperly's shot. His second free throw on the way up, and nothing but twine for Epperly. 10-point lead, 5-10 into Hollenbeck. Over to Twite, over to Hollenbeck. A little bit of pressure by the Vikes. Hollenbeck on the left side. He's trapped by Colton Reichenbach, out to Twite. Epperly bothered into Kopang. And they're going to call a 3-second violation as Lincoln gets caught in the key a little bit too long. 10-point lead, under 5 minutes to go. Epperly up the court, brings it to Chapius. Chapius looking for Clayton, drags his pivot foot and call for the travel. With 4:48 to go, Twite to inbounds for the Rams to Hollenbeck in the backcourt. 57-47, over to Twite on the right side. He'll bring it into the front court. Up to Lincoln. Vikings in a little matchup zone. Out to Hollenbeck, top of the key. Clayton right there. Chase Chapius bothering Lincoln. Lincoln on the left side, trying to get by Colton Reichenbach. None of that. Over to Hollenbeck, over to Twite. Up to Hollenbeck on top of the key. Hollenbeck looking for Twite. Twite fakes his shot, looking for McElroy. Over to Jack Lincoln on the left side. Lincoln's going to drive and throws up the floater, no good. Logan Gilliard out to Epperly. Epperly slows things down. He'll bring it across the timeline. Hollenbeck's going to pick him up. Epperly, crossover. He's going to drive all the way to key, and he's going to get fouled. And Epperly on the nice drive, crossover. He's going to be fouled by number 44. That's Joey McElroy. That'll be McElroy's 5th and 18th foul. As number 10, Ryan Terrell will enter the ballgame for the Rams, and timeout is called by Loyola with 3:57 to go here from the Ronan Event Center in this boys championship ball game. The winner of this ball game automatically into the state tournament. Like I said before, the Vikings have already qualified by Anaconda's win. 57-47, the Vikes lead, and Epperly will go to the line for 2 and try to extend the lead for the Vikes. Here in the fourth quarter, second buzzer rings. So for Loyola, they got Twite, Terrell, Kopang, Lincoln, and Hollenbeck on the floor. For the Vikes, Epperly at the line, Reichenbach, Clayton, and Colton, Chase Chapius, and Logan Gilliard. And the first shot, free throw on the way for Epperly is good. 3:57 to go in this ball game, and Epperly will get one more. Epperly's shot rolls over the front of the rim and good. 12-point lead, 59-47, 3:50 counting into Hollenbeck. Over to Twite, up the right side. Twite tried to drive, and he's going to, reaching in is Colton Reichenbach, and that's going to put the Rams in the 1-and-1. And the foul is going to be on Clayton. That'll be Clayton's first and 17th foul. Luke Schmidt will come in for Clayton. Bo Santa Stephen back in for Chase Chapius, who's had an unbelievable, nice game for Chase Chapius so far. 1-1 for Scotty Twite here in the fourth quarter. First shot up and on the way is good by Scotty Twite. Twite will get the bonus. He'll get one more shot. 59-48, 3:46 to go. Twite's shot up off the back of the rim and no good. Kopang almost comes up and then Gilliard takes it away. And 59-48, Gilliard feeds it over to Luke Schmidt, number 5, back to Gilliard. Over to Colton Reichenbach across the timeline. Into the front court, out to Luke Schmidt. Schmidt gonna drive, looks for Gilliard. Gilliard's shot on the way, short, but Santa Stephen right there, gets the rebound, puts it back up, and just short, but he will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. As he's fouled by Scotty Twite, number 2, his third 19th foul. Santa Stephen, he'll get 2 free throws here in the fourth quarter. Santa Stephen's first shot is up and good. Like I said, he shoots free throws very well for a big man. 60-48, 12-point lead, 3:24 to go here in the fourth quarter as the Vikings lead. Well, a lot of positive feedback. Thank you for the exciting and passionate play by playing for Bigfork basketball this weekend. Greatly enjoyed by fans in North Dakota. Well, shout out to North Dakota. Thanks for all of you listening out there. I'm glad to bring the ball game to you. The voice of the Vikes of the Valley, James LaFontaine. It is a pleasure to be here at the Ronan Event Center and broadcasting these games out there. I'm glad you're listening in, and I appreciate the feedback. So, Santa Stephen back to the line. He'll get one more free throw. Try to stretch the lead here in the fourth quarter for the Vikes. Shot up, rolls off the back of the rim, and good. 61-48, 3:25. Kopang into Twite, up to Lincoln to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck pulls up jumper, no good. Tipped there by Santa Stephen. Hollenbeck comes up with it. Kopang out to Twite. Twite at the top of the key. Twite gonna drive, looks for Kopang. Kopang underneath, knocked away by Colton Reichenbach. Lincoln underneath, trying to go, and Lincoln will score as Santa Stephen has 4 fouls. He's tried to stay in the ball game. A smart move by the senior. In to Epperly. Epperly driving on Hollenbeck. 2:53 and counting. 61-50 Vikes over to Luke Schmidt. Luke Schmidt feeding it to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen gathers it to Epperly. Epperly on the drive. Short, gets his own rebound. Back out to Santa Stephen, top of the key. Santa Stephen over to Luke Schmidt. 2:35 and counting. An 11-point lead by the Vikes. Logan Gilliard over to Epperly on the baseline. Epperly brings it out, dribbles on Hollenbeck. No, they're going to call a foul underneath as Epperly tries to take it up, and he's going to get a couple of free throws. And the foul is called on number 5, Jacob Hollenbeck, and that is Hollenbeck's second and 10th team foul. Epperly, he'll go to the line and he'll shoot the double bonus. 2 shots, first shot on the way is good for Epperly. 62-50, 2:26 to go, and Epperly with shot number 2 on the way. Shot up and off the front of the rim, rolls in and is good. 63-50, a 13-point lead. On the floor now, Colton, Clayton Reichenbach, Epperly, Gilliard, and Santa Stephen, the starters, up the court quickly. Twite to Hollenbeck, over to Twite, to Terrell, back to Jack Lincoln underneath. Blocked by Santa Stevens. Gilliard comes up with it to Epperly with 2:10 to go. Epperly gonna bring it across the timeline. Hollenbeck all over him. And Epperly feeds it over to Gilliard on the right side. Guarded by Lincoln, out to Clayton Reichenbach. Colton Reichenbach underneath to Santa Stephen. Stephen out to Colton Reichenbach, out to Epperly. Clayton Reichenbach on the right side, 150 and counting. And Santa Stephen trying to get through. And they're going to call a player control foul on Bo Santa Stephen. That will be Bo's 5th and the 8th team foul. No free throws on a player control foul. Great game by Santa Stephen, by the senior Santa Stephen here in the championship That'll bring in senior Logan Taylor. 63-50, 149 to go. Kopang into Jack Lincoln. Lincoln around the back to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck to drive to Terrell, to Jack Lincoln. And they're going to call underneath a player control foul on the Rams. Ryan Terrell, that is his second. So player control, Gilliard into Epperly, pressure in the backcourt. Epperly over to Gilliard. Gilliard looking to the front court, finds Epperly on the right side. Over to Colton Reichenbach, 63-50, 132 and counting. In the corner, Logan Taylor. Inside to Gilliard, and Sam Tudor will take a timeout with 1:28 to go. And the Vikings lead 63-50 in this championship ball game. Wow, unbelievable. The Vikings playing well. I don't know, it's tough to beat a team for the third time, but earlier this year, I don't know if I reported it in January on the 27th, down in Loyola. Bigfork led by 19 going into the fourth quarter, held on, won by 10, 61-51, as the Rams put on an offensive attack in the fourth quarter. Up in Bigfork, a little bit different story. The Vikings ran away with it 69-45 by 24 points, and now here they meet again in this championship ball game. 63-50, 1:28 to go. It will be Colton Reichenbach for the Vikings inbounding underneath. Gilliard, Taylor, Colton Reichenbach, and Epperly. Into Gilliard, over to Epperly. Epperly to Reichenbach, Clayton that is, to Gilliard. Gilliard over to Taylor. Taylor looking, playing smart to Gilliard. Yeah, whoa, on the foul on the far right side. It looks like Logan Taylor is going to get fouled, the senior. And the foul is on number 10, Ryan Terrell. That will be Terrell's third. And 1:16 to go. Double bonus for Logan Taylor, the senior. He'll get 2 shots here in the fourth quarter to try to extend the lead. First shot up, rims in and out by Logan Taylor. Checking back in for Loyola. It'll be number 11, Charles Burns, a 3-point shooter. Taylor's second shot up off the rim and no good. Terrell comes up the rebound. Lincoln on the right side. And Jack Lincoln to Charles Burns. Burns to Lincoln. Lincoln on the drive. Scores 2. Gilliard quickly into Epperly. Epperly behind Colton Reichenbach. Over to Gilliard. Up to Epperly. Epperly foul from behind by Charles Burns. And that'll send Epperly back to the line. It is on Burns, his third. 63-52, an 11-point lead with 54 seconds to go. And Anders Epperly back to the line for 2 more. Epperly's first shot off the rim and no good. Number 2, Scotty Twite replacing Ryan Terrell here with 54 seconds to go, an 11-point lead by the Vikings. Second shot by Epperly on the way. This one hits nothing but the bottom of the net, stretches the lead to 12. 64-52 into Scotty Twite. Hollenbeck looks in the corner, finds Kopang. Kopang's 3-point shot on the way and good. 64-55, 41 seconds. Epperly up the right side, gets knocked from behind by Burns and maintains his dribble. Unbelievable. And good sportsmanship there by Burns as he lifts and picks up Epperly after he knocked him down. So Burns picks up his 4th. Epperly back to the line. Epperly will get 2 more in the double bonus. Epperly's first shot on the way. Short, rolls around the rim, gets the shooter's roll, and it will go in. 65-55 with 38.9. Randy Stoltz back in for the Vikes. Senior Logan Taylor steps out for the Vikes. Nice job there by Logan. Second shot by Epperly up. This time nothing but the bottom of the net. 11-point lead, 66-55 into Twite. to Kopang, back to Twite. Twite from long range, off the front of the rim. Colton Reichenbach with the rebound. With 28 seconds and a held ball, possession belongs to Loyola. So Loyola will get the basketball underneath, trailing by 11, 66-55, with 28.7 to go. Feeds it into Twite. Twite tries to go up. No, nearly stolen by Stoltz. Meant for Kopang out there. And that'll be Randy Stoltz. Third personal, team foul number 9. So Kopang will go to the line for Loyola to shoot at 1-1. And Logan Taylor, number 15, the senior, comes back in for Randy Stoltz. So the first shot by Kopang up off the rim and no good. Bounced around, and Charles Burns will come up with it. Launches a three-point shot from the corner. A crazy shot, drains it, 66-58. And Logan Gillard inbounds, and Epperly is fouled immediately by number 2, Scotty Twite, his 4th. Epperly will go back to the line. 14 seconds here in the championship ball game. 66-58, an 8-point lead. And Epps with 2 more free throws. First shot on the way is good. Finds the bottom of the net. Vikings all the way back on defense. Nobody at the free throw line. And the second shot up and on the way by Epperly. Good. Well, into Hollenbeck, back to Lincoln. Lincoln looking to shoot. Runs to his own guy. Shot no good. Colton Reichenbach with the rebound. Gives it to Gilliard in the backcourt. And Kopang gives a little shove to Gilliard. That's going to be the 5th personal foul on David Kopang. Gilliard will earn 2 free throws. And number 25, Bridger Bell back in. So Logan Gilliard will go to the line to shoot 2 in the double bonus here in the 4th quarter. His first shot, free throw on the line, is good. And so, in for the Vikes, number 5, Luke Schmidt returns. Junior, number 14, Luke Taylor into the ball game. Number 55, the sophomore, Colt Thorness. And number 23, Brady Thorness, also in, the junior. Logan Gilliard's shot on the way, 70-58, a 12-point lead, 2.6 seconds to go as all the starters out for Bigfork. Lincoln feeds it into Bell. Bell across timeline, launches a long 3, no good. So your 2018 Western B Divisional champions, the Bigfork Vikings, as they take it to the Loyola Rams in a great ball game. The final score is 70-58. A lot of points going on here in the 4th quarter, and the Vikings played a great ball game, kept it going for the free throw line. Epperly alone, 11 for 12 from the free throw line. That's all the points he scored in the 4th quarter. So he puts up 11 by shooting it and sealing the victory. We'll stick around here for the presentation of the championship trophy to the Bigfork Vikings as they remain unbeaten at 21-0. And guess what, folks? They head to the state tournament next week. And I have that information for you here momentarily. So David Kramer, the athletic director for Bigfork.
The Western B Divisional Championship Trophy to his school, the Bigfork Vikings.
So the Vikings win the championship, remain unbeaten at 21-0. So they head to the state tournament. And I know I had it here somewhere. Yes. Bigfork will be the #1 seed in the state tournament in Missoula starting next Thursday. And that means the Vikings will play at 12 noon in that. And they'll face the #4 seed out of the South for the Vikes. Give me 2 minutes. I'll have a wrap-up of all the stats, what happened in the second half and the fourth quarter. Once again from Ronan Event Center in the Western B Boys Championship ball game. Your final, the Bigfork Vikings 70 and the Loyola Rams 58. Vikings move on to the state tournament next week. I'll be back in 2 minutes to wrap things up for you. Well, folks, a great championship ball game as the Vikings will head to the state tournament as the #1 seed, will play at 12 noon next Thursday. Wrap up of your complete stats. First of all, let's get the Loyola Rams who battled. It was a scoring fest in the fourth quarter as each team put up 22. And in the fourth quarter, a lot of shots made, a lot of offense, a lot of free throws. For Loyola, Lincoln with 14, leading the way for the Rams. He had 6 alone in the fourth quarter. Scotty Dwight with 8, Hollenbeck with 11, Terrell 5, Burns 3, Kopang 10, Bell 2, and McElroy 5 for a total of 58 for the Vikings. Leading the way, we have 2 tied for the lead. Epperly had 18 and 11 for 12. Once again, huge from the free throw line there in the fourth quarter as they held off Loyola. Also with 18, Logan Gillard only scored 2 points in the fourth quarter, but had 16 before that. Was huge for the Vikes. Santa Stephen and Colton Reichenbach with 12 each. Champius, huge first quarter coming off the bench with 6. Logan Taylor with 1. Colton Reichenbach with 3. It was great to see Clayton back at 100% and putting up 12 points. He scored in each of the quarters, 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 4 in the third, and 3 on a big three-pointer in the fourth quarter for a total of 70. So the Vikings will move on again to state, and that'll come up next week at noon. That means I heard Ed Buttrey might be in town, and I might need a color guy for those ball games next week. Maybe Buttrey can help me out, right? He used to do radio back in the 90s before he started coaching and was in government, so I'll see if I can round him up. Once again, here from the Ronan Event Center, your final in the Western B Divisional Championship ball game. Your Bigfork Vikings 70, the Loyola Rams 58. Thanks for listening. I hope you stay tuned. We'll be back here momentarily as the girls' championship game kicks off at 8:30. So I got about 4 minutes till 8. They'll start warming up here shortly. We'll bring that game to you. Be on the air about 8:20. You're going to want to listen to that ball game as the Valkyries go for their championship here in the Western B and a opportunity at the state tournament to join the Vikings next week. Once again, for all of you out there, Georgia, North Dakota, Arizona, Minnesota, all over the USA, and especially up in Bigfork, it has been a pleasure. My name is James LaFontaine, bringing you this championship ball game. Looking forward more to next week in Missoula. It's been great. Thanks for the positive feedback. I appreciate. We'll talk to you later at about 8:20 in the girls' championship. Thank you and good evening from the Ronan Event Center. Once again, the final 70-58. The Vikes move on to the state tournament as the #1 seed. Thank you and good night.